colloquially, especially my sisters. "You're gay, Ashley," I would say. "Oh, that's so gay." That was the cool, hip slang when I was 5.
When you were 5.
And as I said, now they want gay said everywhere. Gay, gay, gay.
So this is a weird way of framing the whole thing, as if this is like a big action that's been taken on the behalf of the LGBTQIA+ community, when it's not. This is something that was taken on by right-wingers. Right-wingers are the ones looking to oppress people, just actively. This is actually people pushing back against oppression. And the idea being is like, how many new ways can we be unfathomably cruel? Speaking of fucked up, I guess we're gonna have to watch this Candace Owens shit. Can I reiterate a couple things, especially when it comes to whatever the fuck Glenn Greenwald's talking about? Because we should probably start with this. Let's return. So, we live in quite a time, friends. Glenn Greenwald says the liberal left are like, the liberal left likes gays as pets, as an abstraction, as a flag to wave, as a voting bloc. But because they think they own us, they're the first to use every anti-gay trope to try and destroy your reputation. Pedophile, groomer, etc. in a way that the right doesn't do if you stray. Aw, I didn't know the right was so accepting of gay people. Speaking of the right being accepting of LGBTQ+, Jack Pacific, I don't know if I need to ever learn how to pronounce your name properly, is selling Boycott Groomers, the shirt. Of course, the Groomers is much larger than the word boycott, so I think it's gonna get a lot of people in trouble, where you might just be walking on the street and then saying, like, what the fuck? Are you wearing a shirt that says Groomers on it? It's like, no, get closer. Get a lot closer. Just get really close to me. Get like this close to me and you'll be able to read the other part. It's like, God, no. Are you grooming me right now? I'm like 30. What the fuck? Candace Owens slanders LGBTQ+ teachers. Pedophilia is around the corner. Of course, the war on Disney is in full swing right now. Disney, of course, it's utterly bizarre. The one because Disney funded a whole bunch of politicians who basically passed the Don't Say Gay bill, and then after the fact did this whole little like corporate like, oh shit, a lot of people are kind of aware that we gave all this money to the people that passed this, but we also have this image where we're all like LGBTQ+ friendly because we've had like a retroactive character actually be gay, and also there was that one kiss, and Star Wars has something. So what do we do now? And they're like, let's just really talk about our representation. Get that front and center. Let's talk about how we're gonna have future stories. We may even have some like asexual representation. We're not entirely sure. We don't know if people have really wrapped their heads around that concept yet. We'll have more lesbians, we'll have more white gay men, of course. They will be there and prominent, of course. We may even have a trans character. We're not entirely sure. We haven't figured this out, but like we're doing it, everybody. Trust us. Don't be mad at Disney anymore. And then that led to the right wing all of a sudden being super upset at Disney and being like, well, Disney's just a bunch of groomers. There's a company of groomers trying to groom people. Disney wants 5-year-olds to learn about sexual orientation. They funded the politicians who passed the bill. Pretty sure they're on your side on this issue. Also, there's Glenn Greenwald. He's just hiding in the corner. Neat to see you there, Glenn. Oh, Disney executive in leaked Zoom call. 50% of our characters should be LGBT. Racial minorities. Racial minorities. My God. How could they? And that brings us to Candace Owens, who says pedophilia is around the corner or something. I don't know.
Perhaps more recent in our memory is the long-fought and won passage of gay marriage in 2015. 2 points that liberals made during that debate as it raged on over the years. Point number 1, us being gay doesn't mean we're going to make your kids homosexual. We're not pedophiles. Point number 2, all we're asking for is the right to love. 2 people who are in love should have the right to marry. Love is love. And they told the truth, by the way, for about 6 months before LGB became LGBT, became what is today known as LGBTQIA, and now all...
This is pretty wild. Like, this level of hate and, hate speech being, like, mainstream in America right now, it's a frightening time. And I say that as someone who is very straight passing, you know. I say that as someone who is cis and who is an ally to, you know, all the letters. I love them all, to be honest. I have no problem with there being more letters. I don't know why this whole umbrella thing is so deeply upsetting to right-wingers. They're constantly like, yeah, there's like a number or something, 2S? What the fuck is 2S supposed to mean? I don't know. The whole thing is just kind of weird because I don't understand it and don't want to.
All they're asking for is non-gender conforming restrooms, no boys or girl signs anywhere ever, the acknowledgement that there are a minimum of 26 genders, at least last I checked, an occasional drag queen story time for biological men to be able to compete against biological women, and for biological women to shut up about it. That's all they're asking for, bigot. Oh, and the right to talk to your kids, 8 years and younger, about their sexuality in the classroom. Yep. Now left-leaning politicians and advocacy groups are insisting that your children say gay in the classroom, which is somewhat confusing for those of us that grew up in the 90s who were told by those same activist groups to edit that word out of our everyday lingo. I mean, when I was in elementary school, I called everything gay.
Different things are different. Like, holy fuck. And it's weird because, like, I used to use that as a pejorative all the time, and I used to call everyone the F slur, and now apparently I can't call people the F slur anymore. Apparently that's like hate speech or something. I don't know. Even though I always like go to gay barbers and I'm like, you goddamn F slurs, every single one of you. I hate you all.
Colloquially, especially my sisters. You're gay, Ashley. I would say, oh, that's so gay. That was the cool, hip slang when I was 5.
When you were 5. Yeah, cool. Good stuff. You understand why that's like problematic, right? Because people are born gay, and so like if you use that as the negative thing, as in this is bad because it's gay, then it kind of just generalizes and it vilifies an entire group of people for who they are. That's, I mean, 5-year-olds, sure, you expect it because they're 5, and part of that is they're learning, and so you can teach them, and we can all be good parents and explain to them why that is oh no, wait, we can't because we're not allowed to even say the word anymore, so that's gone. Okay, so I guess just keep on.
Until we learned that actually it was hurtful to homosexuals, even though we were never aiming the word at them, but using the word casually, we were told, don't say gay anymore. And we didn't, because it was no longer socially acceptable. And the teachers teaching that word, oh, no, forget about it. In my day, it wasn't even appropriate for teachers to be seen outside of the classroom. I mean, I once ran into my 4th grade teacher at the grocery store and I almost fell apart. Hi, Mrs. Longo, what are you doing here outside of the classroom? Oh, buying groceries like a regular human being. Likely story, I'll be reporting this. It was just easier that way in the 90s, right? Teachers taught, siblings fought, but now everything has changed. We've slipped right down the proverbial slope. And as I said, now they want gay said everywhere. Gay, gay, gay.
So this is a weird way of framing the whole thing, as if this is like a big action that's been taken on the behalf of the LGBTQIA+ community, when it's not. This is something that was taken on by right-wingers. Right-wingers are the ones looking to oppress people, just actively. This is actually people pushing back against oppression. And the idea being is like, how many new ways can we be unfathomably cruel? We have to be creative with our cruelty, you see. So we can't do the cruelty in the old ways. We have to do bills that have little loopholes in them. We have to do things like, hey, well, this one actually doesn't allow people to teach or even talk about sexuality in the classroom for very young children. Something that obviously everyone would be on board with being, that's kind of weird or kind of gross. Okay, fine. I'm fine with that. And then we're going to throw in something else. Gender. So not sex, not discussing sexuality, not discussing the differences between gay people and heterosexual people, asexual people even, not discussing any of that. We're also going to include gender in there. So a kid is not allowed to talk about his 2 mommies. He's not allowed to talk about his 2 daddies. He's not allowed to talk about being a girl or a boy. Can't really discuss anything related to gender anymore. And I know everyone's going to be like, well, that's not how that works, right? But yeah, you've effectively, and I don't think you know what you're doing, you've effectively tried to enact gender abolition in a couple of ways. Because now it's like, well, could a teacher talk about being non-binary? No. Oh, no, absolutely not. And that's good because, yeah, that would be really weird. We don't want the teacher to teach kids about being non-binary. Okay. Could the teacher say, I want to go to the boys' bathroom? I need to go to the girls' bathroom? And it's like, well, I get... Technically, no. I don't foresee a problem here, but yeah, technically, no. You know, I guess that's what's going on. And on top of all this, people like Candace Owens genuinely think that this was something that the left was fighting for, as in like, and now the left is trying to, like, this is a response to a bill that y'all made.
Gay. And as much as that excites my inner child, as much as I want to call up my big sister right now with an update, yeah, Ashley, you're gay again, sucker, ha 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 ha. Despite
What? You really want to do that? You're like, it was cool when I was 5, and I really want to do it again. I was like, okay. So I feel like you haven't really matured past the age of 5, Candace Owens. That's what you're telling me.
my inner child, I know, just like the overwhelming amount of people in this country, that what we are really talking about is much more serious. It's a fight from institutions for the right to speak to our children about their sexuality. Young children between the ages of 5 and 8 years old. Don't believe me? Take a look.
I teach first grade, which means my classroom is one of the ones that will be directly affected.
I feel like libs of TikTok is just like a godsend to all conservatives. They're like, oh, nice. Now we just have a quick and easy source that we don't have to do too much research on, and we can find all those, you know, wacky liberals and all their wild ways.
I lie and not talk about my marriage? Do I pretend I'm single? Do I invalidate my spouse's stance as a trans femme person?
The answer is yes to all of those things. What we just examined is a mentally unstable adult predator who has access to children, our children. And there is only one kind of people who don't see it that way, and those are other predators, like Disney, a company which...
Do you understand how fucked up that is to say out loud? Because, like, it's someone crying because they feel like their very identity and existence is being erased. And they're saying that, hey, by the way, if someone asks me, if someone says, is it okay, like, are you married? Do you have a partner? Is your partner a man, a woman? Are they non-binary? Are they trans? Like, none of that is allowed to be spoken about. You can't answer that. Like, it just has to be straight up like, I'm sorry, I cannot talk about that. We do not speak of such things. Yes. There are no more genders here. There are no more sexualities here. It is a complete abolition in every way, shape, and form.
Focus its content exclusively on children. They've publicly announced that they are going to fight Florida legislators on behalf of these child groomers in the classroom. They will demand that these people, like the woman that we just showed you...
The other really fucked up thing about this, besides the history of, obviously, you know, the gay panic defense has always included the fact that gay men are overwhelmingly pedophiles. Pedophiles are gay, and because of that, we cannot tolerate gay behavior. That's been like a way to vilify gay people for an incredibly long time in this country, in most countries actually, and statistically, it's not true. Statistically, pedophiles usually are cis heterosexual men. That is the majority of pedophiles. I'm sorry. That's just how the statistics break down. It would make sense because at the end of the day, the population is only roughly about between 9 to 10% gay, statistically. So again, it's one of those things where it vilifies an entire people because everyone is usually united in that, yes, pedophile's bad. Okay. And now it's doing that thing where it tries to downplay the severity of grooming and groomers, like actual groomers, by trying to associate that. And they've been doing this for a while. They do this to trans people. They do this to gay people. When there are real predators, and there are a lot of predators who operate on the internet, and there are predators who operate on the internet and do try to contact and reach out. Like we've spoken about them, such as you know, like Republican senators. They will actually involve themselves in acts of grooming and in child trafficking as well, allegedly. So saith Matt Gaetz. So this is a thing that, you know, is actually real and happens. And if you make it out to be like, well, Disney, and everyone who watches or likes Disney, and anyone who works there, and anyone who owns a Disney movie or a single Disney accessory or anything is actually a groomer, well, then you're completely downplaying the severity of what real grooming is.
Has a right to speak to your child about her partner's trans feminist, whatever that even means. As if that wasn't bad enough, a private meeting amongst Disney's top executives recently leaked in which the animation director stated very clearly that Disney has been, quote, so welcoming to my not at all secret gay agenda, end quote. Yeah. It turns out it wasn't Ursula or Maleficent, Captain Hook, or even Scar in The Lion King. Nope. The greatest Disney villain of all time is Disney itself. Boycott them. Every park, every show, every coloring book. Because parents, allow me to make this part perfectly clear to you. What will follow this, the intentional and overt confusion and sexualization of our children in the classroom, is obvious. Pedophilia is around the corner. And don't you allow them for 1 second to convince you that that's some imaginary fallacy that exists in your head.
There it is.
Real. We must not give these freaks and predators so much as 1 inch. Welcome to Candace. Perhaps more recent.
Welcome to Candace. Was that the open? That's your intro? Is that the cold open? God damn. Oh man. Can you imagine accidentally being taken to like a taping or something, and then you're just sitting there, you're like, I am in the wrong place right now. And then all of a sudden I was like, wait, that's just the first 5 minutes. How long is this? 3 hours. Holy shit. I gotta get the fuck out of here. This is way too intense. All right, what is this? Breaking. Governor Ron DeSantis, whose spokesperson uses the term groomer to insinuate that opponents of Don't Say Gay bill are sexualizing kids, hired as his faith advisor a man who once fired as a high school teacher for having sex with a student. Really? Oh, how did that happen? Leading candidate for SBC president under fire for ordaining an abuser. A leading candidate for the president of the Southern Baptist Convention is under fire for ordaining a public school teacher with a history of sexual misconduct as a deacon. The former teacher now runs a faith-based nonprofit and serves as the faith advisor to Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. The Reverend Willie Weiss, a pastor of Calvary Church in Clearwater, Florida, told his congregation Friday that one of the congregation's leaders was stepping down due to past sexual sins that could also be described as abusive. Oh, well, I mean, as long as you've been absolved of all your sins, you're fine. Rice did not name the deacon, but said the church leaders had been aware of the deacon's past misconduct, and it occurred long before they came to Calvary as a church member. It did not involve criminal charges, and never been identified by law as a sexual offender. Nevertheless, it was a terrible sin and it devastated people's lives. Rice went on to say the church leader had repented his sins and had been open about their past. Eventually, after years of being a faithful church member, this person was made a deacon, a decision that Rice said he now regrets. Wow. What a surprise. This continues, by the way. Actually, I can just go right back to here for 2 seconds. Right-wing pundits absurdly smear Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson supporters as pedophiles. Supreme Court nominee Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson gained bipartisan support Monday, essentially guaranteeing that the Senate will narrowly confirm her later this week. In response, the right-wing discourse has only crashed further into the gutter as a smear campaign emanating from QAnon conspiracy theory movements has become the norm. Right-wing pundits responded to Jackson's historical nomination by falsely accusing her of being lenient towards child pornographers. Now, in a last-ditch attempt to derail her nomination, these pundits are accusing the public officials who supported her of being soft on pedophiles, or of being pedophiles themselves. On his Monday radio show, Fox News host Mark Levin made outrageous claims that President Joe Biden was himself a sicko and had selected Jackson for the Supreme. Well, I mean, he does have a very long history of grabbing young girls and smelling their hair, so I'm not gonna absolve Joe Biden on this one. The whole thing is sick and creepy. It's hard to understand if you're a rational human being. Molly Hemingway, editor-in-chief of The Federalist and Fox News contributor, claimed that Senator Mitt Romney's newfound support for Jackson was super interesting and weird in light of her purported soft on pedos ruling. The only new info since he voted against a few months ago was increasing awareness of her soft on pedos approach. Soft on pedos approach. So, yeah, this is the future you have to look forward to from Republicans. It's going to be a combination of going after and attacking and vilifying trans people, calling everyone in the LGBTQIA+ umbrella pedophiles, groomers, gay pedophiles, all that kind of stuff. Like, it's going to be consistent. This is what they're going to weaponize. This is their culture war. It's absolutely horrifying.
Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form. Available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Just, we are prepared to conduct many a human sacrifices in your honor. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your humble yet incompetent jesters, trying in vain to bring some levity into your life. To our Lord Trevor R., we give you thanks for this meager plot of land for us to toil away our pathetic existence. To our brave knights, Carl Wauer, Tony, D.M. Rivera, Resident Scarecrow, Sir Nickus, Mayred, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruben Kelly, Brandon, Words Greenwood, Nate, Hegbert Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Daniel Sutton, Coulter Smith, Jenna Tal, Quiet 185, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, The Tim Caucus, Multimondi, Trevor Janis, Lemmy 101, Anthropophojak, Saren 42, Catherine, Ramon Acosta, Incosin, Agent NDN, Violent Orchard, Political Puppy, Andreas Chiringuito, Zach Christensen, Todd Buckingham, and Todd Lajeunesse. We salute our mighty heroes off to conquest some bread in some far-off land.